What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be attempting to fix up this old boat and pair it with this Johnson 9.5. We got into both of these things pretty cheap. We're gonna see if we can get the motor fixed up, get the boat fixed up, and see if we can't package these together and make a little bit of money on a boat flip. These 12-foot aluminum boats are my bread and butter flip. I do multiple of these every summer. I make a lot of money on these things, and I'm about to show you how. Starting off with the boat, guys, this thing is overall in really decent shape. I don't see any major floor damage, nothing like that. The trailer has maybe seen a little bit better days, but really it only looks like the fender. I mean, the actual steel frame of the trailer itself's in pretty good shape. We are gonna need to replace the transom. This is a bit too old and rotted for my liking. Same thing with this piece here on the back. Other than that though, it is in pretty sweet shape. So I actually purchased this boat with the trailer for $200. That's kind of my rule of thumb with these guys, is I like to get into a boat and trailer for under 300 bucks, and then I feel really good about the opportunity to make some money. The reason for that is I also find outboards that I know I can get running good for about $250 or less. So if I can get into a short shaft outboard and one of these little 12-foot boats for a grand total of $500 or less, I know for a fact I'm gonna be able to get $1,000 out of a fully prepared combo, and that's always the goal. I like to double my money. All right, so to put on the back of this $200 boat and trailer, we've got these guys. These are both a 1967 Johnson 9.5. I was told in theory this one should run, and this one is a parts motor. This one right here, the parts motor, it spins freely, it feels like it's got compression, and we can get spark back to any outboard. So we'll test everything to make sure in a different video, but I'm not totally convinced that this is a parts motor. Of course, we're gonna check it thoroughly, but for this video, we're focused on this guy who in theory should run. So before we move forward with the boat, I'm gonna get this engine on a stand, check spark, check compression, and see if she runs. Okay, first look under the hood. We got a fuel filter here. Got a new fuel pump. All in all, this thing doesn't look too bad. It wouldn't shock me to see this thing turn over. Feels like a good amount of compression, spinning freely. And if you guys have bought stuff like this on Marketplace before, you'll know you can kind of tell the people you meet. There are some people that when they say, it ran last time I had it out, you know, but there are other people where you can tell they genuinely wholeheartedly believe this is a good motor that they've just had up for a while. So I do think this is a good one, and the guy was a really nice guy, so wouldn't shock me at all to see it fire right up. First thing I'm gonna do is get some compression numbers. All right, let's give it a few pulls and see what we got. Looking at 64 on the top. And 65 on the bottom. Perfectly even. So I know there's a few of you right now already typing comments about how 65 is way too low of compression. I've worked on countless of these 9.5s, and all of them that end up being really good runners are between 60, 68 PSI. And I also have receipts from a mechanic on a marineengine.com forum. Anything north of 60-ish will run just fine. If any of you guys know anything more about these and why these just have lower compression but still run great, let me know. I'm interested to hear. So yeah, from my personal experience, as well as the professionals on the online forums I found, 60-65 is perfect for this engine. It should run fine. With that being said, let's go check spark. That thing's sparking great. Perfect spark, great compression. This thing should be a good runner. Okay, plug wires are back on. We've got fuel attached to this thing. Let's pump the bulb and check for leaks. Okay, don't see any leaks anywhere. So there's actually a little overflow port right there on the carburetor. That's a really common spot to see fuel coming out of if you've got something going on with the float inside your carb. We got nothing here. Everything's looking good. Let's see if she'll run. Oh. Smoky. All right. Well, I'd say this thing runs pretty dang good. She's got a little bit of a lean sneeze. You hear that little jerking it does. Typically reminiscent of when an engine's running too lean, too much air, not enough fuel. We can dial that in with the low speed adjustment screw on the carburetor, but other than that, this thing is a good running motor. So now we've confirmed this engine's a good runner. That's awesome. This is the little dial that controls the low speed idle mixture. On these old models, it's kind of this cool little wire that leads all the way right here. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna turn this counterclockwise, maybe an eighth of a turn at a time, richen the fuel mixture up, and see if we can get that little sneeze to go away. Just like that, guys, no more sneeze, just running a little bit lean, richen it up a little bit, good to go. All right, guys, our Johnson is running great. I don't think we're gonna have any issues throwing this on the back of the boat. I think we can all agree the boat is in pretty decent aesthetic shape on the inside. However, what's not in good shape are these tires. The insides are definitely dry rotted. Gonna need to put new tires on this thing. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to repack the bearings with new grease, and I'm gonna change out the tires. Okay, on both sides, we got brand new tires. Bearings are freshly packed with grease. They were in good shape, just needed a good repack, clean grease. This is an example of a lot of times in this business, there's gonna be a lot of gray area on what you should replace and what you shouldn't. Obviously, when we're flipping stuff like this, the goal is to make as much profit as we can. I did pull the boat home fine on those tires, and theoretically, I could have sold it with those tires, no new grease, and it probably would have been okay for the way home. Marketplace deals and in-person buying and selling is technically buyer beware, which means the buyer really assumes all risk for anything they'd make the decision to purchase. However, there is something to be said for being able to sleep at night knowing you did everything you could to make sure something that you sold to someone doesn't blow up on the freeway and hurt or kill someone. It's good for the conscience, it's good for returning business. Do the right thing, spend a little bit of extra money. 2 new tires cost me a total of about $100 after tax from Harbor Freight. That's about $100 less that's gonna go into my pocket. However, I'm sleeping peacefully tonight. No issue selling this to someone with the trailer in the shape it's in now. Okay, we've got a good engine. We've got good tires, grease bearings. Now we got to take care of this transom. Most of these little 12-foot aluminum boats have these wooden transoms on them. It's just rotted out, guys. They don't last forever. Just need to replace these. So first thing we need to do, we need to pop out all the bolts that are holding these on from both sides, and that way we can remove the wood. I don't know why I'm doing this the hard way. Okay, old wood is off. Okay, I've got a sheet of plywood here. I've got my old pieces laid out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a pencil, Sharpie, whatever you prefer, get an outline, and then we'll cut this out with the jigsaw, and that should be the perfect shape we need. And guys, this is an exterior rated plywood. We want it to be good for water. We want it to be exterior rated, and we're gonna silicone it as well. Let's cut this out. And go figure, I don't even know what this weather is. It's rainy, there's blue sky, it's sunny. Oh, that's actually hail. 2 minutes later, it's over and the skies are blue again, so back to work. So every time I've ever done a transom job like this, I always finish it off with this GE silicone. It's waterproof, it's sunproof, it's freeze-proof. It's perfect for this application, never had any issues with it, so that's what we're gonna go ahead and seal this up with. So I really like to use this just to kind of fill in any cracks. I like to put it around the outer edge of the wood. It dries clear so you can hardly see it. I'm really just giving the outer edge, where there may still be a little air gap between the wood and the aluminum, a nice waterproof seal. I also like to put a little bit of the silicone just around around the bolts that go through underneath the water line. And there you have it, guys. That is how I do my transoms. That thing is watertight. Rock solid. The most important thing I could possibly tell you about flipping boats like this is hey, have you guys ever heard of Prize Picks? Because I really got to tell you about them right about now. Did you guys know Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app? I know, it's crazy. Prize Picks is so fun, super easy to play, and I'm teaming up with them for the whole NFL season. All we're doing is picking 2 to 6 players and entering in whether we think they're gonna get more or less than their Prize Picks projections. And we're talking huge payouts. You can 100x your money. I'm talking turning $10 into $1,000 in a few taps. I just submitted my lineup for this Sunday. Let me show you who I'm rocking with. I'm taking more on Joe Mixon's rushing yards, more on Kareem Hunt's rushing yards, he's back. I'm taking less than on Justin Jefferson receiving yards. Detroit's the real deal. I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs, more on rushing yards. And finally, Evan Ingram is back. I'm taking more on his receiving yards. If I get all 5 of these picks correct, I'm gonna win $2,000 from this lineup. Go to prizepicks.com and sign up using code BOATBUSTERS. When you do that, all you gotta do is play a lineup of $5 or more and you're gonna get $50 for free. So click the link in the description, prizepicks.com, code BOATBUSTERS. Let's have ourselves a Sunday. Now back to the video. Okay, another thing we gotta do is check our trailer lights, see if those are working or not. This here is one of the best tools you can have for flipping boats. It fits into a standard 6-pin connector like most trucks have, but it also adapts to both kinds of 4 and 5-pin trailer lights. All right, headlights are on and I have a left turn signal. And as you can see, we're getting absolutely nothing to either trailer light. On top of no light, these are just busted anyways. I mean, these are in bad shape. Trailer lights are really cheap. I mean, maybe 20, 25 bucks for a kit for a trailer like this. Just go ahead and grab one. They're really simple to install. And not only is that a safety hazard, guys, if you have someone come pick your boat up late at night to take home, but in my early days of doing this, guys, I have had someone come buy a boat, trailer lights didn't work, and they refused to actually buy the boat, and they passed on it and went home. And I don't blame them, but just something to be aware of. Gotta make sure your boat's got good trailer lights before you sell it to someone. And as you can see, we got new trailer lights that are working great. You know, boat trailer lights and my subscribers have a lot in common. You both light up my world. So if you want to light up my world today and you're enjoying the content, why don't you click that subscribe button for me? It's free, doesn't hurt nothing, please. With the trailer lights now in good shape, the last thing I really would like to do is fix this. I am going to be removing the rust from these fenders with a patented rust remover spray. It works every time, it never fails. Let me show you. So as you can see, when I'm spraying this magic spray on, the rust melts away and the beautiful black paint is revealed. It's good stuff. Completely rust free. All jokes aside, of course, this is just black spray paint, but it certainly helps the curb appeal. The only things we have left to do, we of course got to water test the boat. We're never going to sell a boat that we don't water test and confirm everything's working perfectly. Then I'm going to put new plugs, new gear oil, do a service on the outboard, and of course give the whole thing a good bath, and this thing will be ready to sell. Let's get to the lake and take this old girl for a test drive. Alright, so to make a long story really short, I get to the lake and there's like 5 natural resource officers and 2 sheriff's deputies there. I've never seen that much law enforcement at the lake ever. I think they might have been doing some sort of end of season training or something, I'm not sure. Anyways, all my safety gear was up to spec. However, they were being really weird about all my cameras and filming and the drone. Anyways, the boat runs great, there's no leaks, it shifts great. It's a really nice rig. This thing's gonna make a really great boat for someone. With that being said, let's service the outboard, let's get everything looking nice, and then we'll talk final sale price. when you list these, you want to make sure you have a fuel tank, primer bulb, all of that. You want to make sure you're selling the full package that's water ready. Another pro tip, guys, you can find these trolling motors on Marketplace all over the place for maybe 20, 50 bucks. I buy one anytime I see it around the $50 mark. A lot of times what I like to do is I like to put this on the boat before I list it. It gives the buyer more options for their rig, and also it gives you a quick and easy route to an extra 100 bucks or so. We're getting down to the 50s and 60s in weather this week, so it may take a week or more to sell this thing for what I want. I don't really want to wait that long before posting the video, so I'm going to be asking about $1,200 for this rig, and I'll probably take $1,000 if someone offers it to me. 99% of the time you get these guys done in a weekend and boom, you're up 400, 500, 600 bucks. It's really easy money. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.